Hello, guys, and welcome back to League One and League Two predictions. It's the playoff finals this weekend. Some massive, massive games determining promotion from League One and League Two, respectively. I am joined, as always, by Hollywood superstar Benjamin Bloom. How are you?
That's unbelievable. I feel like, when someone does the marathon and it's like fair play, but they're not in great shape, and all the good runners are finishing, aren't they? And we're just clawing our way towards the line. We love the playoffs, Matt, but it's just the end is in sight. And I know I speak for you because we do the same gig here. We love our football, but it is exhausting week on week on week on week. And there is part of you, there's no tournament this summer, that just goes, and breathe, and who are you? Oh, you're my missus. Oh, we can spend weekends together again. That's lovely. But yeah, I'm great, mate. And I dare say I did the right thing as Matt's mate. I gave him a wide berth. I didn't speak to Matt for a few days after a galling, horrible. You thought it couldn't be worse for Coventry after the last couple of Wembley visits. Mate, gutted for you. What a way to go out to Sunderland.
Yeah, it was pretty tough to take. Obviously, if it was anyone but Coventry, I'd have been delighted for Sunderland because what an incredible moment that was. But from a Coventry perspective, it's heartbreak again. It just seems to keep happening. At least it wasn't penalties, I guess, Ben, but it was the next closest thing. And Coventry go again in the Championship next year, but we like the Championship anyway, don't we, Ben? That's where we want to be. That's where the fun is.
We got Ipswich back as well, haven't we, eh?
That's it. It's not all bad news. I want to say a massive thank you, by the way, because we've just hit 100,000 subscribers on the channel, which is amazing. That is down to your brilliant support, and it's also down to the likes of Benjamin Bloom coming on here, doing great work with me, and I really do appreciate it. So let's get over to Ben's channel and make sure you're subscribed as well. We'll do the plugs.
You need to be quiet because I need to talk now. Mate, I am so proud of you. That is utterly, utterly brilliant. And look, I know you've got the Premier League prediction side, but to have got to that number, starting with EFL, we're EFL guys, we're Championship guys. That is utterly brilliant. And I'm so proud of you because I know what an absolute slog it is. I know about, and you won't know, guys, watching on YouTube, they put these little green arrows up and these little red arrows down and track every video you've done. It just ruins your day if the arrow's going down or whatever. And, you do one thing and you're straight on to the next thing. And yeah, it's great, but it's such hard work. And mate, for you to get to 100,000 is just absolutely brilliant. So just from someone who really, really knows, congratulations, and you deserve it.
That's very kind, Ben. I really do appreciate that. And I really mean it. It is the likes of yourself, Sophie, helping me as well. It really has helped. And like I say, this is a celebration today as well because it's the end of the League One predictions for this season. And we will be back next season, guys. Don't worry about that. So, like I say, get involved. Make sure you have subscribed to Benjamin Bloom, though. He is the first link in the description. I'm sure you all have, but if you haven't, get involved. Like I say, he was in Welcome to Wrexham, so I won't say any more. Go check it out.
I thought I'd no-sold that quite well, hadn't I?
Yeah. So do check that out. Ben, obviously, just the two games to predict. Let's just quickly mention the predictions from last time, where I managed to get Stockport 1, Orient 1, and Charlton 1, Wickham 0. And I said Matty Godden, which gives us, Ben, you're not going to get this, a score of Matt 359, Ben 360. You couldn't write it.
Someone's going to go back and check and they'll be like, you'll be one out with the maths in November or something like that. That's incredible and well played. I guess we'll have our takes on the semi-finals as we're predicting the finals. But yeah, so it is going down to the wire.
And with that said, let's get into them. We start, Ben, with the League One playoff final. It's an all-London derby as Charlton Athletic take on Leyton Orient. Both have been so impressive this season. And I'm going to let you go first. What have you got to say?
I have a question for you, because I know you were watching. How much or how many minutes did you manage to get through of Wickham Charlton over the 180 without trying to throw your TV out the window? I got so many messages and WhatsApps and things saying, Benny, you watching this? This is dreadful. These two aren't going to do anything in the Championship next season, but that's not fair because it's tournament football. But yeah, how did you get on watching that one, mate?
We kind of know what to expect from the playoffs. I think some people just expect it's going to be like the league form carrying on, maybe a 3-2 win. It's very methodical, and especially with Charlton Athletic with their clean sheets, we thought it could be tight games. I think we were both pretty close with our predictions here, and it was a nail-biting one, really, wasn't it, for both sets of fans? But I thought Charlton played it very well, and it was a very Nathan Jones kind of win, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I was at both legs of Leyton versus Huddersfield. You're better with your years. 2022 was that? Was it 21,
right,
22?
Yeah.
The Huddersfield went on and lost to Forest in the final, and I think Nathan Jones' entire game plan and modus operandi was based on getting Corberond in that, and that game was vaguely similar. I think Huddersfield scored a counter-attack, Luton scored a set play in the first leg, and the second leg was, right, you are going to stay in shape. Both sides did it, and you're not going to take a single risk. If we come forward down this side, tuck over, cover, only 3 ahead of the ball all game or what have you, and set pieces, fine, whatever. And then, strangely, Jordan Rhodes, a fox-in-the-box striker, not dissimilar to Matt Godden, nicks a goal, kind of, not like a dramatic, stupid late goal, but nicks a goal right at the end. And I think he had that. I'm not going to lose that way again. And Corberon just did a number on him in that. So I kind of thought it might be that way, and he turned it in his favour. And it was a terrible game, but it was a great moment, and absolute limbs, absolute scenes. And look, I know a lot of people have buried Nathan Jones since then for a somewhat performative goal celebration. But we moan about managers that are dull and boring and, completely media trained and don't do or say anything. And whatever you were doing, you reacted in some way, shape or form to Nathan Jones praying to the Almighty after Matty Godden scored. Or was it at full time? But yeah, it was fascinating, wasn't it?
It certainly was. We like characters on this channel, Ben. Steve Evans, one of my personal favourites.
Still out of work?
Still out of work. We might see him in League One next season. But Nathan Jones, I think you know what you're going to get with him. Very emotional on the touchline, of course. But I think relief as well, because his game plan paid off. I mean, it's very risky because obviously if Wickham get that goal on 82 minutes...
100%.
Then you've lost, because obviously at that stage it's too late. But Charlton played it well, and when you've got a striker like Matty Godden, Ben, who's scoring goals at a decent rate, that could be crucial coming into this final. But what about Leyton Orient? I really liked Richie Wellens' post-match interview, and I speak about Matty Godden. Leyton Orient have got Charlie Kelman, who's been really good recently. So difficult to separate them, you reckon?
Oh, it's just brilliant, Orient. And look, I'm the guy in Championship land we must say here, the Championship stats and the League One stats are two different things. And I don't think you should compare. I think it's apples and oranges comparing League One playoff records with Championship playoff records. But I'm the guy, Matt, that always says it is so hard for sixth place to beat third place. And Stockport have been... it's a very typical third versus sixth kind of matchup, wasn't it? Where Stockport have been so steady all season, super consistent. Wickham had the little drop off towards the end of the season, and they go in there in third place. What was their total, Matt? Didn't they get near
85 on it? Leyton Orient, sorry.
No, Stockport got 87. So 87. Just a really good side. And then you have Leyton Orient, who, as you'd imagine, coming in sixth, they're a bit more of a flawed team that have been streaky, as we've pointed out, but ended the season brilliantly, and at various points in the season had absolutely sublime runs. I wonder what would have happened if, because Orient scored after like 5 minutes or something. I wonder what would have happened if Stockport had scored after 5 minutes. I wonder whether whether it worked out perfectly. But what you got to say about Wellens and about Orient is they're probably the one side out of the 6, and I'm stealing a Sam Parkin line here, in the finals that might go for it. And
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's naive. I'm just looking at all the other 5 teams and all the other 5 managers and thinking, right, whatever happens, I need a 0 at half time, and that comes before anything else. But absolutely brilliant. The penalties were great. I think it's fascinating that they knew which end they were going to before the game. I mean, that's a completely different wrinkle. And I know people react funny when I praise Gareth Southgate, but my God, he'd done some study on penalty shootouts, hadn't he? And I know England came a cropper, but knowing that's just another new thing. Imagine, just that one thing. Imagine Coventry and Leyton had known, well, okay, it's gonna be this end. Just the tiniest bit of information can change everything. But fair play, Orient. Did you really believe they were going to get to the final, Matt?
No, I had 1-1 and Stockport on penalties, actually. So I didn't get the penalties prediction right. But I thought they had a chance because we've praised Leyton Orient when they've been on a good streak. They've been very streaky. At times they're very good. At times they're not so much. But they are on a good streak coming into the playoffs, and they've carried that on, Ben. And they keep scoring goals. So you say about them going for it in the final. In 7 of the last 8 games, both teams have scored. So although we usually associate the playoffs with low scoring, and we expect that to be Charlton's game plan, Leyton Orient might open things up a little bit, and we might get both teams to score. And both teams scored last time these two faced off, of course. I think it was a 2-1 win to Charlton. Charlton have done the double over Leyton Orient this season. Orient did beat them in the EFL trophy, but we're going back to the start of the season. I don't know how much we read into that. I just like Orient being in good form at the moment, Ben. I think it really puts a spanner in the works. I think Charlton probably are going to be the bookies' favourites for this, but right here, right now, I haven't even written down my prediction yet. I'm not too sure what I'm going to say. I'll let you go first.
That's because we're guaranteed a scribble. So what I might do, I'll do something a little bit naughty. So, spoiler alert, this is actually quite funny. Matt and I, let's completely break the fourth wall here. It's 11:57 as recorded. My predictions with Sam, we recorded yesterday. They're coming out in 3 minutes on my channel. And I went for the classic scribbler, the 1-0 Charlton in this one. So, if you'll forgive me, I'm going to make a different prediction on your channel, Matt, if that is okay. But, Matt, are you completely looking at this as, are Orient going to be able to attack in this game? Because I think if Charlton have the kind of control of the game and it goes the way we expect it to, I think it's a Charlton win. All depends can Orient take the lead? Are you kind of looking at it like that? That's the absolute key. Can they take the lead?
You would imagine so, based on what we've just been speaking about. Leyton Orient maybe come out the team on the front foot. Charlton may be the happier of the two if it gets to half-time 0-0, because Charlton will try and grind out one of their chances, and a 1-0 win, that's how they tend to do things. But you're right, if Leyton Orient score first, then it does put the cat amongst the pigeons and makes Charlton open up a little bit. But if Charlton get the first goal, then you'd imagine they're going to double down on their game strategy here. So, did you give me a prediction, Ben? Come on.
I did. Can I ask you one more question?
Go on.
Is this the one playoff final that has the most chance, purely because Orient are in it, of being over 1.5 goals?
I would say so, yes.
I think so. I think so too, don't you? So let's... Okay. I won't go one... I'll go for extra time then. I'll go for 1-1, but that's purely predicate. I think if Charlton take the lead, I don't think Orient can win. I don't think they'll be able to make the comeback. So I'll go for a 1-1. I know you're going to ask me about extra time in a minute, but what are you thinking?
Do you know what? So I haven't written down a prediction yet, but that feels like a scribble. It feels like that was maybe where I was landing. I think... I'm not feeling brave enough to go over 2.5 goals, or am I? Maybe I'm slightly leaning towards Charlton, maybe 2-1, but I'm wondering if that would be after 120. But you've taken the 1-1. So I will go Charlton 2-1 in normal time. because I didn't want to be too predictable and say 1-0 Charlton as I always tend to. And if Leyton Orient score in the first 5 minutes, there goes my prediction. So I will have a couple of goals. I'll go Charlton 2, Orient 1. But what I will say once again, I would be delighted to see Leyton Orient be promoted as well, because they've had a real tough time, Ben. 11 years ago, of course, they were in the League One playoff final. They went down to the National League. They've had so many financial problems. Just in Edinburgh, of course, is another tragic sort of side to the story, because he brought them back up and then he passed away, of course. So
I tell you, I met Justin Edinburgh.
No, you never did.
No,
lovely guy.
He actually was. I don't want to be that guy because, I mean, I'm sure you get it with our kind of niche popularity. You meet someone at a football ground and they say hello and they tweet one of two things. Either you're a complete arsehole if you were kind of running to get a cup of tea or something, or you're the nicest guy they've ever met. It's a complete extremes. And no, he was really nice. I always remember Ipswich were linked with Bradley Dack and he was managing Gillingham. And yeah, he had a good bit of banter. He said, "You only want to sign Dak because you just like blokes with long hair, don't you?" We had a bit of banter about it, and he was great actually, Justin Edinburgh. So I thought I'd share that the things people say, and obviously I worked with Joby McAnuff at Sky, and I know Joby was really the senior guy there. I think he might have even taken the team after that happened. So yeah, I've got some kind of feel on how horrible that was there, Matt.
Tragic, absolutely tragic. And it'd be an incredible achievement if they get up. Like I say, Richie Wellens, I absolutely think he's been amazing. I really like how he speaks and how he conducts himself. But maybe I'm looking into Charlton having a very good record in the playoffs, and maybe that's what gets them over the line here, Ben. They tend to do quite well. I'll go 2-1. I just think they might edge it.
One more question. If Orient lose in the final and you're a championship owner, is it time for Richie Wellens to manage in the championship now?
I think there's quite a lot of opportunities popping up now as well, Ben. So yeah, I would imagine at least
do a lot worse, couldn't you?
Oh,
sorry,
absolutely.
Orient fans. We're praising your manager.
Hey, this is football, isn't it, Ben? That's what can happen. Yeah, I agree. But I'd like to see him stay. And if they don't go up this year, I'd like to see them pushing again next year. So
right.
Go on, Ben. You said I was going to ask you extra time penalties. Have you got an idea?
Well, I think if it goes to extra time, I think it goes to penalties. Apologies for I did say that in the game that you probably don't want me to mention from last week, and it didn't. So maybe if it goes to pens, I do always like the team that's just won a shootout. I think you look for anything, don't you? And Wellens was brilliant, wasn't he? Because he was talking about the keeper, Keeley. And when he's saying in the post-match, I wouldn't want any other keeper. You know how smart these managers are. He's already setting the narrative for, well, if it goes to penalties, our keeper was great and, we've nailed this. And anything that can go in, it's so marginal penalties, isn't it? It's complete warfare of any bit of, narrative or data. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll take Orient on penalties if it goes past extra time. But if someone's going to win in extra time, it would be Charlton. I would have thought. So
let's put it to the viewers. What's your predictions for Charlton versus Leyton Orient? I don't think there is a wrong answer. Well, there will be, of course, by Sunday. But share your thoughts. I think it is on a knife edge. Ben, we move on to League Two. AFC Wimbledon versus Walsall. An interesting one, this. So not many people would have thought Walsall would get past Chesterfield. I know they'd finished above them, but we thought, especially ourselves, that momentum was such a big thing and Walsall were down in the dumps after a terrible run. They performed really, really well. But we like how methodical AFC Wimbledon have been in the playoffs as well, Ben, and they're a tough nut to crack. So what's your thoughts?
Well, it was just strange the amount of, or the lack of home wins, particularly, we got. And it really did feel like, not necessarily in the Walsall game, but it felt like that swung so heavily in Wimbledon's favour, with the away win and then the attacking players for Notts County not being available in the second game. So, yeah, I did still think that Walsall Chesterfield might be open because we thought that Chesterfield might just go for it. And with our Championship hats on, the man of a million Championship appearances, Albert Adoma, popping up at the end for Walsall was quite something as well, wasn't it? So, just an interesting lot of playoffs, particularly with the amount of first leg away wins. So I think that's what kind of coloured it the most. Were you surprised to see these two in the final after the first legs?
After the first legs? No, because they both picked up wins in the first legs, hadn't they? I suppose we thought there could have been a turnaround somewhat, but they both got the jobs done. They both won both games, actually, Ben. It's not too often you get two teams winning both legs. You might get a win and a draw, but...
Do you know, Matt, can I quickly come in there? In Championship land, Sheffield United are the first team to win both games since Brentford in 2015.
Wow. Who
Just
was that?
never happens. Brentford Middlesbrough.
Brentford Middlesbrough.
No, sorry, Brentford lost. No, I'm wrong. Middlesbrough beating Brentford. Sorry, Bristol City were the first team to lose two games.
Yes.
Since Brentford. My bad. Sorry, I got that the wrong way around. But yeah, Middlesbrough got to the final, lost to Alex Neil and Norwich in 2015.
Yeah, I remember
won't mention who Norwich beat in the semi-final. Move on.
Who would that be, Ben?
Not Coventry.
Wimbledon versus Walsall. Let's have a look at this. So, Ben, you've got Wimbledon, best defensive record in League Two this season. Walsall, top scorers in League Two this season. So something's got to give. With that, there is the caveat that Walsall's top scorer this season was Nathan Lowe. Of course, he was recalled by Stoke City. Since then, actually, Taylor Allen, who's a defender, has been chipping in with most of the goals, interestingly. Wimbledon, Matty Stevens, 21 goals in all competitions. I wonder if one goal might be enough to win this one, Ben. I'm up first for this, and I wonder, is it too predictable to go for Wimbledon to win their third playoff game in a row, 1-0? Got to be honest, I was so impressed. So impressed with their performances against Notts County. I know that we spoke about Jetta and McGoldrick not being able to feature much in the well, of course, Jetta in particular in the second leg. I just don't want to be too predictable, but then the playoffs can be predictable. We think they're going to be low scoring, but then we've also said in the past that these League Two is different to the Championship, where it can throw in a few more goals. You've got to look at this another way, Ben. I mean, Wimbledon have been preparing for the playoffs for the longest time because they've been pretty comfortable in 5th or 6th place. Walsall have kind of found themselves in the playoffs when they probably thought they'd get over the line, but then they have performed really well in the semis.
Yeah, I was going to say, does that reset after what they've done in the semis now?
Maybe they haven't had too much time to overcomplicate things and they've just gone straight into it and doing very well. I don't know. I didn't fancy Walsall against Chesterfield in the first leg, and they did really, really well. Once again, I feel like I'm coin flipping this one. Johnny Jackson really impressed me. As for the head-to-heads, Ben, I'll just quickly flash those up. Wimbledon 0, Walsall 1 when Walsall were flying earlier in the season. And then most recently, a 1-1 draw at the Bescott Poundland Stadium just a couple of months ago. I will go 1-0 to Wimbledon.
Okay, so I think I might flip that. Then, so just for pure transparency, I went for the draw. Parkin took the 0-0, so I had to go over 1.5. So I went for the 1-1. I'll take Walsall then, and I can argue it on the basis that it does feel like actually a very famous Wimbledon win at Wembley, the former Wimbledon. Don't get upset about me saying that. You know why I'm saying it. In the FA Cup final, where it's a set play and a clean sheet, that feels like the way that Wimbledon will win, doesn't it? With a 0. And I just think Walsall can win it in a slightly different way than Wimbledon can win it. Yeah, or Walsall can win it in more ways than Wimbledon can win it. So I'll happily flip your 1-0, and I'll take a 1-0 Walsall. And I am acknowledging that I am very deliberately making different predictions here on the Matt SB channel than I did on the Benjamin Bloom channel.
Yeah, gives it another flavour, guys, in case you'd already seen Ben's predictions as well.
By the way, my daughter loves What's Your Flavour by Craig David. Has your little boy discovered that song yet?
No, I don't think he has.
Try it. It's just ice cream flavours throughout the song.
He'll like that. He'll like that. I tell you what, Ben, speaking of Wimbledon's FA Cup win in '88 that you were just speaking about, I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent here. But
He's definitely going to mention Coventry winning the Cup in '87. There's no way Matt SB can get past this without mentioning that, can he?
I was going to say Palace's FA Cup win was very much like Wimbledon's because you had the penalty save, like, was it Dave Besant saved it for Wimbledon in '88, obviously Dean Henderson, and the 1-0 win, obviously both played at Selhurst Park, so a little bit like that, if you see what I'm saying, drawing the comparison there. I just want to congratulate Palace again, Ben. I saw your video, it was brilliant, wasn't it?
Absolutely amazing. And again, sorry, I seem to just be wanting to give you trauma today, but I was in the Leyton end as a neutral for their playoff win, which I guess was similarly unexpected, them getting to the Premier League as Palace winning the cup. And if you just take a moment to look around, and I know it's 22 blokes kicking air around, in a spherical object, but people, it's more than that. It's more than that, isn't it? And people, they're friends and, their journeys in life, and they'll never forget the point where they win the FA Cup or they win the playoffs and they were at Wembley, and that'll be a point in their life, and it's so great, isn't it? And you and I have said many times in different videos that we support teams that we love, but are probably never going to win a major trophy. I know before you and I were around, both our teams did, but it's probably not going to happen again. So it's so special when a Palace or a Pompey or a Wigan wins it, and it does bring the magic of the FA Cup back up. And maybe I'm going to revise my opinion that the FA Cup itself is not lost its value. It's just lost value to the big teams that win it every bloody year, isn't it? But just quickly, Matt, I haven't seen. I know you've uploaded, haven't you? What were your Championship playoff final predictions?
I have gone for Sunderland, Ben.
Wow!
I know.
Go on, son.
I've got to be honest. My head is telling me the Blades will do it. I let Sophie go first. She's gone for the Blades, and I thought to myself,
what did she go? 1-0?
1-0 to the Blades.
Yeah, that's what I went for.
And
she's not stupid, Soph, is she?
No, but I was thinking it's probably a 1-0 Blades. But then I massively underestimated Sunderland against Coventry. I know it's a massive task getting past Sheffield United because Sheffield United have been so good this season. But I think I'm going with the fact that Palace were the underdogs, Newcastle were the underdogs, Wembley has thrown up a couple of surprises this season. So maybe if Sunderland get the first goal, that was my prediction. Sophie's gone for Blades. I've gone for Sunderland. And then, like I say, I've got Charlton. Ben's got the draw in that one. I've got Wimbledon and Ben's got Walsall. And I do want to just say before we wrap it up, a massive good luck to everyone. Enjoy your days down at Wembley because it is special at this time of year when the sun's out and everything. Let's hope it's nice weather this weekend as well. And good luck to you all. If you've got there, you've deserved it. Ben, that's our predictions for the season. Now that is the final games we're predicting. Can I just say, honestly, though, a massive, massive thank you because there's so much behind the scenes here that we have to try and meet at the right time and get these done. And with League One schedule, we've had weeks in Christmas where I'm like,
well, at least they all play Tuesday.
Yeah,
we don't have over 2 days.
Ben, you've been brilliant though, because I'm like on a Monday, could you get me there? And he's still got to try and fit Sam Parkin around it. And then after the Tuesday games, I'm like, could you get me on Wednesday there? And he's been brilliant. He's ever the professional. So I really do recommend checking out Ben's channel in the description. And Ben, what can they find over there?
What Matt's not mentioning is I do turn up on the right day, often late, and there was only one occasion where do you remember that one a few weeks ago where you text me like, Ben, where are you? We're supposed to be filming right now. I just completely forgot, but there you go. Plenty of good stuff. I am lucky I will be there on Saturday for the Championship playoff final. Sam will be there on Saturday and on Monday. So if you're if you're a Wimbledon or Walsall fan, go and say hello to Parkin. He'll be probably on the lower tier on the kind of media side of it, but you'll see him bimbling around probably. And if you see me, come and say hello. We love to hear all your stories, and we'll try and get a vlog up for that. But Yeah, you can also find Matt and I are going to just have one last Premier League check-in podcast. And that show, we're doing a lot of work on this behind the scenes. That show will be back next season, but it might not be where you expect it to be. And that is all I will say.
Ooh.
All I will say for now.
You're teasing the fans there, Ben. Guys, like I say, a massive thank you once again for all your support. So obviously we've got the Premier League check-in on Ben's channel tomorrow. We'll probably regroup at some point in the summer and do some work together. And then, of course, when the season gets going, we'll have the weekly content really returning. So that's it from us. Thank you, everyone, for your great support. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.